My name is Andy Emile. I'm the publisher here at Greenwich Magazine and the Chief Revenue Officer at Motley Media. I'd like to invite you to an at-home in Fairfield County mastermind discussion with local thought leaders in residential design, architecture, and real estate sales. We hope you enjoy meeting our panel of experts and become inspired by this discussion. Thank you so very much.
Welcome, everyone. I'm really happy to host all of you here in the Greenwich showroom. My name is Milene Del Nero. I'm the director of this beautiful place. Ornare, for those who don't know about the brand, we are a company that produces cabinetry, very high-end and beautiful closets, wall systems, kitchens, and bathrooms. I know if you have chance and a little more time, we will be glad to show all the details for you. Please come often. We are a company that was founded in 1986 by the Shatton family, and we are really, really glad because today we have Stefan Shatton here with us, and I hope you can enjoy the panel. I'm sure you are gonna love it. Thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for coming tonight. We're gonna start. I'm Megan Gagnon. I'm the editor of At Home in Fairfield County Magazine. And thank you to Ornare for hosting us tonight in this beautiful showroom. If you've not already taken a lap, I would encourage you to do so. And then we're gonna start by introducing our panel here. So if you wanna just introduce yourselves, Rich.
Sure. Rich Granoff, Granoff Architects.
Amy Adinas Hirsch.
Michael Ferraro, Compass Real Estate.
Great. And the theme for our discussion tonight is how we live now. Certainly, these three know about what home buyers and clients are looking for, and in the last 3 years, there has certainly been a shift in what we're seeing in the market. So we just wanted to have a discussion tonight about what that looks like in our homes, building our homes, building new, renovating. And Rich, we'll start with you. And just talk to me about when you're building, what are clients asking for? What is the most important to them right now?
Okay, so there's a bunch of questions, and I kind of took them holistically. Sure. And what's interesting, this is my fourth decade building in Greenwich, Connecticut. I'm not that old, but started at the end of one, and so here we are. So if you go back to the 90s, traditional house, traditional interiors. You go to the O's, traditional house, modern interiors. And in the last 10 years, we've finally seen, modern house, modern interiors. So definitely the trend over the 30 years I've been working here is from no modern, and the brokers, I did a lot of spec houses back in the day, and the idea of even considering a modern house for a spec house was don't go there. Right? And then all of a sudden, everybody was like, maybe the interiors can be a little modern or open, right? And now it's you can build a modern house. It's accepted. Or maybe resale, they're even better because there's so many Center Hall Colonials out there and very few modern houses. So that's the biggest trend overall about tonight's event. I'm going to say is that we've seen this full transition, and I like to think that my clients are getting younger, but actually I'm getting older, so the clients are the same. And I think there's more of an acceptance coming out of New York City, post COVID, the influx of younger buyers. So most of the projects we're doing now are modern. I mean, some transitional,
right.
A modern farmhouse, but
right.
We're really seeing modern happening, and as some of you know, or as Kristen knows, I built a modern house for myself, so now I have my showroom.
Yes.
It's just people that are skeptical about modern is come on, and it's not for everybody, but.
Sure.
So.
Well, Amy, I know certainly when people think of modern, they think of big spaces or clean spaces that are large and open. How do you design intimate spaces within, and certainly around here we have large houses? Yes.
So I say that I'm always humanizing a space because sometimes they get so large that they just don't have the warmth of the comfort. So for us, it's taking 4 chairs and an ottoman and kind of grouping, or taking lighting and doing it in a different way where it's over at a lower level than something that's sky high in the houses. So for it's creating these spaces that are unique, but just smaller, intimate, and I think people don't understand sometimes when they get into these gigantic houses what it takes sometimes. They really need the guidance of ourselves to be able to orchestrate a floor plan, or to, you want something that's completely streamlined, but it needs storage. Where are you hiding all this stuff? Where are you putting all this stuff? Where I think people don't understand that there's the functionality and then there's the beauty. So it's the layers. Even in modern homes, we always add our layer.
Yeah. You need closets like this, certainly. Will help hide everything. Michael, what do you think about what are buyers asking for homes that they're telling you? What's on their must-have list?
So I have been asked the question of like, what's the must-have? This is and I have learned now, especially talking and working with some amazing brokers that we have within Compass, and doing a lot of work with people out in LA and Miami and the Hamptons and New York City. It is so individual. There's no more all across the board, except maybe like high ceilings. Can't have low ceilings anymore. That's all gone. So I think that what I have seen, if I had to create a palette for across the board, the taste for people wanting to do work in these homes isn't really there anymore. There's an expectation that being in an area, paying a certain amount of money, buying a certain type of property, it needs to already look or feel a certain way. And that's a whole nother conversation. We start talking about interior design and working on home staging for sure. But I think that to speak to something like about what Rich was talking about, because what COVID did, I think, is there was a lot of home buyers that came to the area that pushed the trend from where they were living and what they were used to as lifestyles faster than we anticipated. The LA feel, which is very modern, contemporary, open, glass. The New York City, which is very almost industrial looking in certain ways, chic, having a view, glass, clean, easy lines. Miami, the Hamptons, these styles then got brought here because people didn't think they were going to be moving here that fast. There's a lot of lifestyle changes that happened because of COVID, and people said, that's it, I'm done, I'm not living this way, I'm going to come up to Connecticut, I'm going to come up to Greenwich, and that's the style that I wanted. And so it accelerated that contemporary, it accelerated the clean lines. Something like a farmhouse, which there was a very big push. A lot of that started with the kind of mixing of a contemporary into traditional, into the rustic look. HDTV a couple of years ago kind of started to go away, and these different trends of more just simply transitional on the inside, taking a Georgian colonial with that beautiful Greenwich look, but now let's make it more sophisticated and contemporary on the inside. That's what wants to be seen. Open, airy, light, high ceilings, all done. No appetite for really redoing
Immediacy.
Yeah.
Immediacy.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
that's easy to deliver on,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I want it now.
Yeah. And Amy, what do you think about for the people that have a more traditional home and they want to renovate or just redesign and go more modern? How do they work in traditional pieces that they already have if they're not just starting fresh with a whole new?
It's funny, the word modern in our universe, I think for me is just well edited, right? I think some people, and we've had clients who have a traditional home and who have wanted to skin down everything, they actually are super uncomfortable sometimes. They have things, they've come with things, they've have, a history of things, and how do they leave them all behind? Right. Or you completely take something that is old wood, that's restored, and we lacquer it, or we change the hardware to things. I think it just depends upon what they're connected to and what you want to bring. And for us, we also don't use it in the same purpose, right? So we would move it into different spaces. But I think the word modern, for us at least, I think you have a different approach to it.
Say modern,
yeah,
right?
modern.
Capital M, modern.
Yeah.
It's like
ours is just streamlined and tailored and well edited. Yeah. It's clean. And people like to live with less, especially the clients who have done this 3 and 4 times, right? They don't, and I think what COVID also came out was, I don't need all this stuff. Right. I just need all the right things. I don't want all this, even just things around them. And our clients are all really super successful, and I find that they just don't want to be overly stimulated by things. Yeah. So it's just the less is more.
The minimalistic style.
Yeah.
Is,
but not too many.
Not too minimal. Not too minimal.
No?
Just right.
Yeah, just right.
Rich, what do you think about people who want a modern space but fear that it won't be warm and cozy?
Yep, so technology, specifically 3D computer visualization, is a tool that we've really embraced and now use literally in every project. So, doing an interior rendering used to be like a big deal, like, oh my, we got to hire somebody and blah, blah, blah. And now it's like we have a model of an architectural design and those spaces inside. So now we can literally put every finish, every light fixture, every piece of furniture into a computer model, and then I can walk a client through it. So no one's really guessing anymore. In the old days, we showed a client a plan and they pretended to understand it, right?
Yeah, right. And they're nodding and
Right.
they really
Although
have no
I
idea.
still have clients that you show them a rendering and they still don't get it, but they're never going to get over that. So, but no, all kidding aside, the visualization has gotten so good, and we at Granite Architects, we do it in-house, and it's just a spectacular tool. And the best part about it is if you show a client an interior rendering and they say, I love it, but I don't like that couch, or I don't like that, you just swap it out.
Or even the harderscapes, right, which is so permanent, right? So if they didn't want a marble, or like the trend is all this crazy Calcutta, and they like it, but they don't know if they can live with it, at least that model can absolutely
Visualize.
help.
Very
easy.
Yeah.
It's a good tool.
Michael, back to you on what does luxury mean for homeowners today? What is putting them in that category where they feel like they're getting something extra special?
So luxury is probably one of those words, and I get it all the time in my business that you're a luxury broker, and what's that mean? So, the average price point in Connecticut for a home is $2.3 to $2.5 million. And you look nationally, that puts us in one of the highest category for medium home prices in the country. But what's that mean? So are you going off of price point? Are you going off of what? It really comes down to, I believe that when you get into luxury, it really is the extravagance of your living, and that's really set by the amenities. I think amenities and the class at which your materials are used create that luxury. So it's luxury for you and your lifestyle. We're the leading lifestyle group because we're all about lifestyle marketing, lifestyle branding, lifestyle sales, pairing people with what they want in their life. So you would consider luxury, let's say an amenity, having, everybody will think, well, I want a movie theater. Okay, well, I want to have the gym, I want to have the wine cellar, I want to have the full court basketball hoop in my downstairs, whatever. I got to have a 6-car garage with lifts because I need to have that. I have to have my tennis court along with the pool. Totally dependent on what it is that you would consider lifestyle, a luxury in your life. I would tell you that if you go to the Hamptons and you go down and you look at some of the properties, they look at their tennis courts like we look at pools here. It'd be very strange to spend a certain amount of money, let's say, in a certain area, let's say for $7.5 to $15 million, you're going to get a very high-end, beautifully done, possibly even a new build with all the finest finishes, and you can have a tennis court, and it'd be so strange to not have a pool. Like, there's no pool? What do you mean there's no pool? It's the same way you would go to the Hamptons. That's a luxury that they would need to have there. So it's totally individual,
Amenities,
100%.
what you're saying. Yeah, is the sort of short answer to that?
Yeah, the short answer is amenities. There you go. There you go.
Amy, if you have younger clients right now, what are they asking for that's different than what you've noticed in the past?
Oh, I don't know if it's necessarily different. I think everybody, right, the amenity part, is more or less what is their priority and what is it that they value. So for us, we get so many different things. I think, again, it's different from the clients that you've had that are established, who you understand who they are. You know their likes. You know how they operate and how they travel in multiple homes, right? And sometimes everybody wants to pack everything into one home, but it can't always happen that way. And so I think it's a matter of what is their value, what are they looking for, what is it in their daily life that we're just here to make it better and to enhance it. So I think that people, they're just, I don't know if it's necessarily all the bells and whistles all the time. I just think it's what is the simplest and what is going to make their life, easier as they walk out the door. And if the younger client has lots of children, it's how do you, and most of our clients have 4 children and then their friends, it's how do you manage that lifestyle? And can my house also be indestructible? That's the other thing. That's the new one, is more so,
Low maintenance.
I want the low maintenance, I want to not have to worry about this. And it's not necessarily them, it's all the people that surround them.
Right.
The people who care for their home and everything. So they're really looking for just less of doing anything.
Nothing too precious.
Yeah.
And just to follow up on that, you talk about younger clients, but we also have a lot of empty nester clients, of which I am. And that's a whole different product type, really. It's a, you know, it's an adult house. It's not for kids, but you still have to, you know, accommodate a family lifestyle when everybody comes to visit, but on a day-to-day basis, it's a couple or a single person at home. So that's another challenge.
But the other challenge too is also, like, we're doing House Up in Rhode Island, and the children, their children are grown and they're out, but they're also at the stage where they're going to get married,
Grandchildren,
and then they're going to have grandchildren. And so they're building these homes for everybody to come back to, but
Family compound.
it's a compound. And how do you manage all of that in the thought of, again, a toddler wandering around in the bar?
Is your house toddler ready?
No.
Rich? No toddlers. Okay.
No toddlers.
Michael sort of touched on this indoor-outdoor living and how that priority has shifted for buyers. Are you seeing a lot of a focus with?
That's from day one for us. You know, especially in the suburbs, it's all about indoor, outdoor. We have 3 landscape architects on our team forever, because where does the indoor stop and the outdoor begin? Same thing with interiors, right? Where does the architect stop, interior designer happen? So indoor, outdoor has always been a big part of what we do. You know, obviously glass walls leading to an outdoor space, and then what happens on the property. You know, as you said, it could be a tennis court, it could be a pool, but bocce courts and you name it, sports courts. So indoor, outdoor, I don't think it has always been important, and I think will just continue to be important. And COVID made outdoor space even more precious, right? I mean, you can get away without a pool at a house in Greenwich until COVID, and now you can't.
Time's up, yeah.
I mean, as far as, you know, selling a house at a certain price point, it's got to have a pool.
But I think because of where we live too, everybody has expansive land. Or not, right? And then you also have the sound and the ocean behind you. But I feel like we've always had that luxury of landscape. And it's always been incorporated into formal gardens and things like that. So,
But there's this big, it happened relatively quick, where everything that was being built up, and again, I go back to the people bringing in trends that they see from outside places that they maybe traveled to, or temporary vacationers, now they're going to live here. That being able to open your front door and have a straight eye line to this big glass wall where you can slide it right out, and then the design is really all about that life. I remember I taking my family on some vacations to some beautiful areas in Florida and out into California, and we would not look at anything that didn't have the slider, that, because we were like, well, wow, look at this. There's this outdoor, indoor. And then all the trends started to come back this way, and I think that's probably here to stay.
Yeah,
I don't think that's, and I think
Also,
that
technology has allowed larger glass expanses now.
Yep.
Structural glass, and
for sure. And to touch on something else I missed on the luxury and talking about amenities and talking about that stuff, smart homes have become, anything modern is one touch, environmentally friendly, being able to speak to Alexa in every single room, change everything out right on your phone, Lutron blinds. Those are, that also would be shocked if it's not already like that, the way it would be built.
which leads to sustatably,
Right.
which I want to talk a little bit about. You
Sure.
tee it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And we ask about EV charging.
Yeah.
So I've been green for, you know, a long time.
Before it was cool.
Since I was a kid,
Yeah.
I was green. So, I feel strongly that architects have a responsibility to society to educate our clients on how important it is to build sustainably. If buildings use 30% of the energy or put off 30% of off-gassing in society, the other 2/3 obviously being vehicles and industry. So, and it's come a long way, and, you know, there's been kind of a sine curve of, you know, solar being in and then not being in, and other things. But now here we are with energy prices through the roof, and the technology now with solar, EV charging, all electric buildings, which is really right in the forefront of happening now. Many other types of technologies, and now it's all affordable. EV charging is one of my passions. I'm a EV guy for over 10 years. My new Rivian's parked out front if you want to see it. Tours after. Just got it. You know, having solar and an EV charger in your garage, it just really feels good to come home and plug in your car, knowing that the energy you generated is driving your car, and you save money. So for us, sustainability is something that's here. It's important, and we need to all be a part of it, including specifying materials, including
Well, materials have come a long way.
Sell a house with solar, it should be worth more because it's the energy's costing less.
So,
sure,
Yeah.
So.
All right, the last sort of general topic is keeping a fresh eye on what's coming next. And Amy, I'll start with you. Trends is a good
Hate
word
that
or a
word.
bad word, depending on who's asking. But how do you
longevity.
stay true to your style when there's the constant bombardment?
There
of
is the constant.
New all the time.
And everybody is always putting things in front of us.
Of
That
course.
is just, what is the hot item or what is the,
Right.
hot interior. And for us, it's just the longevity, right? So we don't want that 15 minutes of fame of whatever that item is. So you can get into that vortex of, Pinterest and Instagram. And it's actually a great, useful tool for us. But I'm looking, 10, 15 people deep into who is this unique artisan? Who is this, weaver? Or who is this craftsperson that can bring something unique to our and that nobody else has, right? So that we definitely want to make sure that we're not doing what everyone else is doing. So for us, it's it's trying to find those unique elements that kind of stay ahead. And then once everybody else gets on your bandwagon, you have to kind of find the next thing, right? So, and it's good because you're supporting other people as you're doing it.
Right. No, that makes sense. Michael, what do you think about in terms of what buyers are responding to, certain rooms or styles? What are the things that people are loving right now when they're walking through homes?
Right off the bat, besides the curb appeal, I mean, if you open up the front door, you need to have some height.
Yeah.
You have to have space when you come into the front door. Clean eye line. Again, I go back to clean lines. More people, even if it's a transitional interior design, right, as opposed to traditional or contemporary, people still want to have clean lines when they come in. They want the space and they feel. After that, once they come in, immediately they go, if it has eye line, they go to what the kitchen is. The kitchen still, to me, I think, is the room that's making and breaking properties and houses and home sales. I still think that. You can have a house that has an okay color palette. Maybe the rooms are okay, good size, but if it has an unbelievable kitchen, I mean, a showstopper, it's still the number one. I'd say the number two would probably be the living room, family room. If you're going to stage that, that's also a very important room to do. And your master bedroom, for sure. Those would be probably the top three. Oh, office, for sure. Office is super important. Oh, you have to have an amazing walk-in closet.
With Ornare.
And Ornare needs to come and do it. That's right. Yes.
I'd like to thank us.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Rich, so the last one for you, sort of in that same vein. How do you manage expectations when there is this accessibility to so much online and everywhere else, and people bringing you their vision, whether or not it's executable? How do you manage that?
That's a good question. So, design comes easy to us designers, but managing budgets and schedules, not so much. Okay, so it really starts with open communication with a client. Like, what are your expectations for the budget and the schedule and the design too? But
Right.
it's all about managing those expectations, and you got to get it out up front.
Right.
And once you think, or at least you hope to get it out up front, it changes.
I think people come with all these big ideas, right? Because they're so excited, right? And they're
The
so
Pinterest board.
But they have these, and listen, there's clients out there that come with just incredible imagery, but their budget may not meet that. And you don't want to be a Debbie Downer to them and say,
Right.
listen, because that's not how you want to start.
Right.
You just have to have that communication. Say, you could do this, but you might have to do X,
Right.
And it's always constant with us.
Yes, it's a
It's
constant.
never
But good design cuts through that, and it doesn't have to be expensive to be good design, right?
it
So, some of our best work are lower budget projects because you got to try a little harder.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you three so much for
you.
participating. Thank you. And thank you all for coming and listening.